Her dream is to get high school students into college and help them and their parents find the funding. Her name is Roxanne Armstrong and has a business called Armstrong Empowerment, and got quite a background and master's degree. So what is a woman who have all these degrees and intellect, good looks, why not go out and make your own money? Why help people chase money when you can make your own money?
Well, see, part of the process is helping people feel empowered.
Okay.
It's everything that I do, and I've been so lucky in living a dream and doing different things with helping students, that is like the moneymaker for me. Helping families to find money and giving them that lasting tool to help break the cycle of poverty.
Why is that so important to you?
Because you need that education. You can't get anywhere without the college.
But you have yours. Well, why is it so important for you to help other people get it?
Because I didn't necessarily have anyone when I was younger guiding me. My parents told me they wanted me to go to college. They had never been. They wanted me to do it, but there was no one there kind of guiding my way, and I was independent in terms of searching out the information. A lot of students aren't like that. I had a lot of friends who were in the middle of the road, who they weren't the go-getters, and they weren't slackers, but they never pushed themselves, and they never went, but they had as much talent as I did. And it's a process. It's a business. College is a business, and if you don't know the ins and outs, you'll miss out and think it's not for you.
Is it an excuse when you have a good student who says they can't go to school because of money? Is it an excuse that frustrates you, or is it a lack of knowledge and empowerment?
I think it's a lack of knowledge, and I think what people might call their excuse, it's fear. It's fear of not knowing, of feeling like it's too expensive, it's not going to be worth the cost.
A lot of young folks feel that they're not worthy of a great education, right, of Harvard or Yale. They feel that, gee, I can't achieve that. I came from this background. I'm not capable of that. Do you find that sort of a confidence issue out there?
There is a confidence issue, and that's one of the things that we do in Armstrong Empowerment Group, is helping them build the confidence through that process. Not building the confidence for the students, but also building it for the parents and saying, you know what, I don't know, but you can call up someone who does know. And the lack of knowledge is not going to be the excuse of why they don't go. Everybody has that opportunity and deserves the opportunity. Whether you choose to take it at the end of the day is a decision that you and your family have to make.
If I said to you this whole college process is a racket and that you have to know how to play the game and that there's certain procedures that certain people know and certain people don't, would you be greatly offended by that? If I say, you know, it's a racket. If you know the right people, know how to do the process, there's money out there. And if you don't, you're out of the loop.
Oh, it is a racket. It is the best hustle that I know.
How so?
Because if you don't take the time with the forms and you don't call up anyone, they're quick to miss out on you. And let's understand, colleges are going from $25,000 all the way up to $60,000 just for the year. And when parents calculate it in their head, they think of how many cars can I get for $60,000? Really, if I invested $60,000 and out of that money I'm probably paying $20 out of my pocket. That's a big investment, especially if you don't know if your child is going to stay and finish.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about tips then. Now you want to go to college, you have a student who's bright. Give us some tips now. What would you say the first thing you should do if you want to position your child, or if you're a student, position yourself for college?
Begin early. Don't wait. Early? I honestly tell parents, as soon as you get the thought that you want your child to go to school, begin at that time. Don't wait until senior year to plan.
What do you do? When you say beginning planning, where do you start?
You start with opening up an educational savings account. That's the first thing.
The 529.
And that's a 529 account, and every bank has that. Or if you can start a CD, or your own savings account, or an IRA.
But how about this mentality? I mean, to cut you off, this mentality where, okay, I do a 529, I put $100 a month in there, but you said, gee, some of these colleges cost $40 grand a year. What's my little old $100 a month going to do for my child? And you have that attitude where, why bother put my little minuscule pennies in there when this thing costs $40, $50 grand a year? How do you talk that parent?
You start with a nest egg. The second part about it is make sure your child is focused in school. Every A is money in your pocket.
Every A? Every
A and B, I tell students, calculate as A, they give you a full ride. B, they give you probably half a ride. C, they're giving you a little bit of money. D and F, you're begging someone to take you. You're actually now going to have to pay them.
It's about leverage then, creating some leverage where they come to see you, and the A's open the doors for you to call the shots. Right?
That's right.
And so whatever little nest egg you're putting aside becomes a nice little cushion if you have A's and then can pretty much command money, right? Because A's speak volumes, right?
A's and activities speak a number of volumes.
Right.
And especially for students that are low income, on first generation, those things are highly important. You're shopping for them as much as they're shopping for you. So they want to see all of your talents. They want to see you participate in activities, whether it's sports, whether it's volunteering at your church, whether it's taking care of someone in the community, as well as your grades. They want to see all of that.
It's sort of liquid gold. To some degree, if you're from an urban area, first generation, and a great student, you've actually built a tremendous amount of leverage for yourself, because a lot of schools feel obligated to give you an opportunity because you've been handling your business in very dire circumstances, and they want students like that on their campus. Can you talk about that?
They want students like that on campus. I think one of the hard times where they don't get those students is because those students don't feel as if they can be the first in their family to go. It takes a lot of confidence to understand that I'm going to be in first, and what that means is that you're setting a whole new standard for your family that's never had that before.
And a school like Yale now changes the whole dynamic, where if they accept you, the tuition is based on your income, not on what their normal tuition is. So forget about the $100,000 a year. If you're from a low-income place and Yale accepts you, they're basing on your parents' income, and if your income is low enough, you can go to Yale for free or cents on the dollar.
There are a lot of schools where they will meet your need of your family based on your income. You submit, one of the things in applying to college is you submit your taxes. I know everyone doesn't want them to see their taxes, but you submit that information, because that information will help them really calculate what it is that you need. And I tell parents, whether you think you won't get any money or maybe you'll get, not enough, still submit it anyway.
The essay,
still
about 30
look for
seconds.
scholarships.
The essay, the ability to write a strong essay, very important. About 30 seconds. The importance of having some strong writing skills, or at least some clarity in writing for that essay.
It's hard writing for the essay because you're writing about yourself, and that's the one thing they want to know. They don't want to know about your grandmother. They don't want to know about your dog. They want to know, what is it that you stand for, what has meaning to you, and how do you think, and how has that experience shaped you. They want to know how you think, because that's the only voice you have in the whole entire packet that's not already predetermined. Your grades are already determined. You've already taken those classes. Your SAT is already taken. The one thing that you have control over now, because you can't go backwards and change those grades and change the activities you participated in, is speaking from the heart. No matter what it is.
What distinguishes you?
What distinguishes you, and the best I see is the one that has the most meaning to you. Don't look for what my friends wrote or what I think they want to hear, but what really has meaning to you. I've had students write about lining up dolls and talking to them in church. But that was meaningful for her because she wanted to be a teacher, and she was such a shy person.
But the bottom line is,
she did it.
Look for that money. The money's out there.
The money's out there.
Handle your business, have the grades, have the activities, get your resume together, have a good essay, and look for those opportunities.
And call people and ask someone. Go to the schools. Go to a friend that you know who's going to college. Go to churches and find that information. It's out there, and you can access it.
All right, she's Roxanne Armstrong. When we come back, folks, we'll hear from producer and writer Joe Young. He's here with his son, Kyle Young. And we have director, Mr. Aston. I forgot Aston's last name. We'll get Aston up here in a second. Aston Astor. I forgot his last name. We'll get his last name. Aston something. We're going to come back and talk about a movie, Diamond Rough, that is being produced in Hartford next week. Catch all our shows 24/7 at ct9.com/stand. Friend us on Facebook, Twitter, too. We'll get Aston's last name in a second.